Peace and love, family. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. I hope you all are having a phenomenal day. Leo. Here we go, yo. Dilio. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. I'm trying to wait to see someone join into the broadcast. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. I know that you all can see me, but let me know if you can hear me. Please let me know if you can hear my voice. Please, please, please let me know. All right, cool. How y'all doing today? How are y'all doing today? Peace and love, everyone. How are you? Everybody doing good? Is everybody doing okay? Thank you. I appreciate y'all so much. I appreciate you. Do appreciate you all. Oh man, I was wanting to go. I should have went live. I should have went live after Thursday's call. If any of you that are on right now, or any of you that come back to watch the replay that were on the Thursday call, woo, we went. I think we went for what, 2.5 hours on Thursday, about 2.5 hours. Very, very, very informative and powerful call. That particular call, that was the first, because I've been doing these calls for a few weeks now. That call, we opened up the call to everyone inside of the Ready Nation Facebook group. Hold on, let me tighten this up, make sure to. So we had a lot of newbies on the call. It was their first week, and I promise you, I was just trying to take it as slow as possible. You know, to make sure that it wasn't very overwhelming, because some of the information on the Thursday call, this past Thursday call, is new information for people in terms of the things that I've been teaching, right? So we're beginning to delve more into what's going on the private side of things, because these are some of the things that we need to know. You know, it's great to be able to have codes and statutes and all that stuff that we study so that we can try to get remedy on the public side, but we also need to know what's going on the private side, because here's the thing. Number one, if you're a U.S. citizen, meaning, let me take this out. If you're a U.S. citizen, meaning, you know, you don't have any other sort of status on the table, and or you're not protected in trust, even if you go and, you know, try to proclaim yourself to be something, whatever that thing is, or whatever your description of yourself is, or how are you proclaiming yourself to be, while you're quoting their codes and their statutes, meaning all the laws that have been created by Congress, the laws of this particular U.S. corporation, because we know it's not a country, right? Well, it's not a government. It's just a corporation. It's just a corporation, just like any other corporations. It's one of the most powerful corporations in the world. But when you are asserting yourself and you're using their codes and their statutes, it's going to put you right back into the jurisdiction of the U.S. And I think that's where a lot of people get hung up, because they don't realize that that's happening. It puts you right back in their jurisdiction, right? So one of the things that we went over on Thursday's call is what that looks like from another perspective. You know, when you're not operating as a U.S. citizen, what are some of the enforcements that are on the table that you can take advantage of that's going to back you up so that you can claim? Keep telling me that it's circling, so just bear with me. Y'all know how it is. As a connection, just be a bad connection. Plus, I think I just went under a bridge. Right? right? You know, so in place with that BC, that's going to change things for you, right? Where you can tap into certain things and proclaim yourself to be, you know, a certain status according to how your birth certificate is being not stored. That's not the right word. But if you put any protections over top of your BC, let me just say that. But you know, we just got to look at things from all perspectives. And I'm not talking about, you know, the secure party creditor process. I'm not talking about being a U.S. national. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm not talking about none of that. So I hope that Thursday's call was beneficial to those that attended the call. We're going to keep the calls going. And I have to try to do it. When I went back and looked at the call, we had over 80 people on the call. We had about 50 something people on the actual video portion of the call, but we had an additional 30 people that had dialed in. That's phenomenal. We had over 80 people on Thursday's call. Y'all came through. Y'all came through. I went back and I'm like, what? Because I can only see the number that's on the screen. And so when I'm looking at the number on the screen, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. We got 50. It was about 53, 54 people on the call that I could see. But when I went back to the recording, it said 81 participants. I said, get out of town. I appreciate y'all so much, you know, for just showing up and wanting to learn. I really do appreciate y'all, you know, and I was, you know, trying to make sure that I wasn't going too fast because I didn't want to blow nobody's top. I didn't want to blow a fuse because it's really easy to get overwhelmed, and it's really easy to just have so much information to the point where you're paralyzed and you don't know what to do or what to do first. It's a lot of information. So some of what I was talking about on Thursday's call, I'm going to be going deeper into those topics in the private banking series that's going to start this coming Saturday. And so the call on Saturday, this coming Saturday on the 21st, is going to be in the evening because Saturday is Sabbath for me. And the Sabbath is not every Saturday. The Sabbath is based on the new moon in terms of how I know it to be. Who is beeping their horn? Right, so it's going to be in the evening. It's going to be after the sun goes down on Saturday. So for those of you that are enrolled into the course or the series that's due to start on the 21st, your notifications will be going out probably Wednesday or Thursday, along with your trust agreements, because everyone in that training will have to sign a trust agreement. It's an agreement. You will have to sign that and get that back to me before the call starts. I'm super excited for this series because we're going to get into some things in terms of private banking. We're going to talk about foundation in terms of your estate. And we are actually going to get into some accounting strategies as it gets closer to the end of the series. And I really do have a treat in store for you all getting closer to the end of the series. For those of you that are enrolled in all 4 parts, because it's a 4-part series, I do have a treat in store for you all in terms of the accounting, right? I'm just going to say that, just the accounting aspect of things. But yeah, this is going to be good. And so I've had a number of people that have reached out to me on my email regarding the packages that we discussed on Thursday's call. So for those of you that are interested in that aspect of things, don't forget to send me an email. Now, when I went into the recording from Thursday's call, what I realized is that it doesn't give me access to the chat messages. So remember how on the call I asked for everyone to send me their email who was ready to move forward, or actually who wanted to have access to the information that I was speaking about on the call, because there's a certain information that people want to get access to so that they can begin to study and prepare for what's to come. We went over that on the call. Just know that I didn't forget about you all. It's just that Ring Central is not giving me access to the live chat from the call. So I'm going to have to call them to see if I can get tech support to pull it for me, or if there's a setting that I need to change in the back office so that I can see that, because right now I can't see it. And that's why the emails have not gone out, because I can't see it. So I'm hoping that the majority of the individuals that were on this call is going to see this video, and I'll send out an email blast. I'll send out an email blast as well, just to let everybody know. But yeah, I can't get access to the live chat. So even the messages that you sent me privately on that platform, I still can't see it. I just can't see it. All right, where am I at? Let me get on up here. So, but I didn't forget about you all. Just know that I did not forget. Okay, now I'm going to get gas. Right, so actually, I may have to get gas later. Yeah, so I didn't forget about you. Just know that I didn't forget. So that was something that I didn't realize was going to happen, because otherwise I would have just told you all to go ahead and send the email to me in the first place. I would have just given you the email. But I know sometimes people will just send emails just to be sending them, and they don't really want nothing. That's what I've been seeing too. I'm like, why they email me? They don't even want nothing. But I get it. I understand. I do understand. But that was absolutely phenomenal call. You know, and y'all just bear with me when we be on these calls, because I do a lot of talking. I do a lot of talking, even when I'm not teaching in YouTube, and I'm not teaching in a private Facebook group. I am literally on calls, getting certain things situated behind the scenes that a lot of you all none of you all can see, and so my throat becomes very strained. And so, you know, I have to take care of my throat and make sure that I stay hydrated and stuff like that, to make sure that I don't strain my voice, because I can't afford for my voice to go out. Cannot afford for my voice to go out. But yeah, so there's a lot of great things we're going to be talking about on this call. Now, in terms of the post that I made, I think it was yesterday. Was it yesterday? Y'all, all my days be mushing together. I'm telling y'all, my days just be mushing together. But in terms of the post that I made yesterday about you being a U.S. citizen, the U.S. citizenship is like there's some restrictions on you as a result of that. And so basically what happens is that you have to operate through their system in order for you to get remedy. And it takes a lot of time for you to learn all of these statutes and codes for you to get remedy, you know, and especially if you're going into the courtroom, you have to know the civil rules of procedure and all of these things. That birth certificate is just, it's a fiction. That's the best way that I can describe it. The BC is just straight fiction. So we have to get to the real side of how you came into existence, who you are, where you came from, you know, and you literally have to rebut everything, even all the way down to the calendar, because the calendation system that we are on is not the true calendar. So because the calendation system that we are on is not the true calendar, the date of birth that's on your birth certificate is not a real date. It's all fiction, y'all. It's all fiction. All of it is fiction. You know, and so when we talk about this paperwork on the private side, that's one of the things that we're going to be getting into. We have to talk about the calendar. We got to talk about the calendar. You know, and if you go back and you do some research and you dig into history a little, you'll see exactly how the Gregorian calendar came to be. It's not the true calendar. So when we're out here celebrating these dates and these birthdays and stuff like that, how do you know that that's even your real birthday? We don't even know. It's all fiction. What they did is they took and they put a fictional overlay over all truth. They put a fictional overlay over all the truth. You know, in this Babylonian system, what they did is they went and created things that we do and that we celebrate that is in direct opposition of the Most High. It's like the complete opposite, because you got to understand, the enemy's job, he's literally he's anti-Christ, he's anti the Most High. So everything that he puts out here goes directly against the principles of the Most High. All of it. It's all the complete opposite. So when you're looking at certain things out here in the public that you know is fiction, you got to be able to take that and go back to the word and be like, oh man, they're doing this on purpose, because when I read it in the Bible, XYZ. When I read scripture, XYZ. And the problem is that if you don't know scripture, you won't be able to identify those things that are out here that are in direct opposition of the Most High. And then you have to ask yourself, well, why is this so? Now, you know, the world's greatest deception was for Satan to convince the world that he does not exist. But also remember that he wants to be worshiped the exact same way that we worship the Most High. He wants to step into his position. He wants to take us away from the Most High and bring us over onto the other side to worship him. So if he can do that in the way deceivingly, where he is deceiving us into believing certain truths, then his mission has been accomplished, because we're out here doing things and we don't question anything. We don't question things. We just do it. So like the birthdays and the holidays and all of this stuff out here, when you really, really dig deep into history and you know what is going on and you know the word, you'll be able to identify those things that is the complete opposite of what we should be doing. And part of the problem is that this stuff is not being taught in church. It's not being taught in church. And so now what's happening is that the world is waking up. And so the world is waking up and we have questions. We do have questions. But it's so crazy, because all these years that we've been being taught, all these years that we went to school, we never, ever questioned what was being told to us to this day. And then when you have melanated people coming to tell you certain things, now all of a sudden, everything is up for question. Or when you have those individuals that are from the conscious community, or the woke community is what they call it, and we're bringing certain things to the forefront, now all of a sudden people want to question everything, but you didn't question stuff your entire life, and now you want to, it's crazy. It's just, when I tell y'all, it is absolutely crazy. It's just crazy to me. It's just crazy. Let me see if I can get a get in here. You know, it's crazy to me, y'all. It's just it's a little weird to me. It's just really weird. And so it forces you to go back in history and say, okay, what happened here? What happened there? And you really got to get down to the root of the matter. And when you do that, you're going to go through different stages of emotions. When you're finding out this new information, it's going to be, a lot of stuff is going to be devastating. But then you're going to get to a situation in your head where you're like, okay, now what do I do? That's going to be the question. What do I do with this information? What do I do with this information? Where's my card? That's going to be the next question on the table. Because once you find out this type of information, you have to do something with it. Or you got to tell somebody about it. You know. Let me see. I'm waiting for this car to pull up so that I can fill my tank up. Peace and love, D. Brown Bay, Michelle Wells, Marva Joe, peace and love, Javon Schofield, Black Love, DJ Saint, Sean Green, Antonio, Destiny, Shaunica, yeah, ignorance is bliss. Mark, you can email me a question or come into the private Facebook group. Yeah, it's 100% fiction, and it's by design, because their fiction was designed to take us away from the Most High, but we have to be able to identify that. And it's all deception and manipulation, all of it. Man, listen, oh my goodness, I was listening to a YouTube video yesterday, and doggone it, I can't remember the name of the letter, but it was a letter that was written by a ruler at that time, during that time. This is an old letter. And so when I listened to him read the letter on the video that I was watching, it was almost similar to the Willie Lynch letter, but it was so much deeper. If you didn't think it could get no deeper, this letter definitely took it deeper. But one of the things that stood out to me in this letter is this letter was written to the missionaries of those times. That it was written to the missionaries of the times in which the letter was written, right? Now, the missionaries were tasked with going out into different parts of the world and teaching a certain message. But the thing of the matter is that the message that they were teaching, the way that they were teaching the message had to directly benefit their cause. All right, y'all gonna have to hold on for a minute because I'm about to get out the car and I'm about to go pump this gas, and I'll be right back. So hold on. So while I'm away, chat amongst yourselves. Hold on, y'all. All right, I'm back. Right, so this video that I was watching, it was a letter that was written to the missionaries, and he was giving them very specific instructions on how to quote unquote govern themselves as they go out into these different communities and teach the word. Right, and so the instructions that were given will absolutely blow your mind. It'll blow your mind, but it makes sense. It really makes sense, because their strategy, they had a very specific strategy in terms of how they weakened the minds of the people, how they weakened and softened the minds of the people. And so you got to understand, this letter was written to the missionaries that were going out into the melanated communities, right? So they gave very, very specific instructions on how to weaken the minds of the people. So all of the things that we have suffered throughout the years, all of the atrocities that have been committed against us, it makes sense why none of our communities have really risen up in terms of starting a war against the powers that be for all of the atrocities that they've committed. And it showed different examples of interactions with, the missionaries in terms of how they brought these different melanated communities to a point of loving them, of loving them, of loving them. And so when I think about that, I immediately go to the movie Django. Y'all remember that part of the movie Django? Who all seen the movie Django in this, who's on this live? Who's all seen the movie Django? Put a 2 in the chat if you've seen Django. Put a 2 in the chat if you've seen Django. I don't think I can see. Okay. All right. So remember the part in the movie where Samuel L. Jackson. So y'all know Samuel L. Jackson's character, the character that he played in Django. Y'all already know where I'm going with this, right? When I say that they've gotten a lot of people in our community to love them to a certain point where anybody who tried to come in opposition of their master, quote unquote, they looking at them like, okay, well, nah, who is this person? Who is that person? And they will fight to the death. They will fight to the death. Right. When he snitched. Even when he came out of the house in that very first verse scene when Jamie Foxx was on the horse, and he was like, wait a minute, who is this dude? Who is this dude? And Leonardo DiCaprio kept having to tell him, just calm down, calm down. You understand what I'm saying? If y'all have not seen the movie Django, even for the non-melanated people on this live, any non-melanated people, any of you all who follow me, please go and watch that movie. Go and watch that movie Django, because that movie speaks to the mindset of the people that have been hypnotized and indoctrinated with the quote unquote word that's going to fit the agenda of a whole nother people or the powers that be. It's a form of, it's a way that they keep a certain amount of control, right? And so when I hear people that are out here that are really teaching about consumer law and teaching these things, and they want to, they want to say things like, well, the system is not a wicked system, it's not rigged, it's a beautiful system, stuff like that. They say stuff like that. I got to give them the side eye, because the system was specifically designed to steal our birthright and our bloodline inheritance. That's how the system was designed. It was designed that way, y'all. It was designed that way. Because if it was not designed that way, why do they keep moving the finish line? Why do you have to keep going and fighting for what is rightfully yours? Why do you have to keep fighting? Why do these organizations ignore your paperwork? Why, when you go to court, the judge can dismiss your case on a technicality? You understand what I'm saying? How is this a good system that we're living in if we have to jump through hoops on top of hoops on top of hoops just to get what is rightfully ours? Please, can somebody please explain that to me? Right. Just explain it to me. How? I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. This is not a good system. There is something wrong with the system. Anybody who's saying that there's nothing wrong with the system, you know, you really want to, you're gonna have to figure out if you should be following that person or those individuals who say those types of things, because we got to constantly get out here and fight. It's not a good system. So what that tells me is that we have to step outside of the system and hit it from another perspective, come from another angle, from outside of the system. We have to come from a higher jurisdiction from this system, a higher jurisdiction. The only way that you're going to be able to come from a higher jurisdiction is to come out of the U.S. citizenship, period, point blank. Being a U.S. national is not a higher jurisdiction. Doing the secure party process is not a higher jurisdiction. Unless you're operating from trust or treaty law, that's the only way you're going to get anything of value. That's the only way. The U.S. citizenship is not designed to give you any sort of benefit. You may get some small benefits, yes. I'm not saying, let me retract that statement. I'm not saying that there are no benefits there, right? That's connected to the Social Security number. But those are not the true values. And the only values that you're going to get is from the public side of things. You're not going to be able to access the private side of the ledger as a U.S. citizen. You just won't be able to do that. You won't be able to do that. You will not. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care. I don't care. You will not be able to do that. You having your bills paid, okay, that's great. But what else? All of the monies and that they've stolen from you behind the scenes without your permission, the fact that they stole your identity and you don't know what it is that they're doing, and they're creating all kinds of securities behind the scenes and you don't know. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. So this is what we're going to be talking about in this next training that I have coming up. Because it's time for them to transfer that wealth. It's time. It's time for them to transfer that wealth. It is time. And you ain't gonna be able to do this as a U.S. citizen. You just not. You're not. You're not. You're not gonna be able to do it. How long I've been on here? 34 minutes. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to do that. You gotta pay attention. You know, it's so funny because I went over the weekend to go and look for that movie. Y'all remember that movie called The Truman Show? That's an old Jim Carrey movie that came out years ago. And it's funny because it's been trending on TikTok. And I remember the movie. It was, you know, it was very entertaining. It's a funny movie. I watched it. It's an old movie, y'all. It's very old. And so when I went to go and look for the movie, I think I was able to find it on Amazon Prime. But when you go to try to look at the movie, it says unavailable. So I looked on HBO Max, it's not on there. I looked on Tubi, it's not on there. It's not on. I think it might be on Netflix. I don't know. I gotta go back and look, but I do remember trying to go and watch it, and it said movie not available. Now explain to me why they would take a movie completely off the internet to where nobody can go and watch it. So part of the reason why it was trending on TikTok is because they kept talking about you know, they were talking about the situation where, I don't know if y'all know the movie, but in the movie, this individual Truman, his whole life is a TV show and he doesn't know it. He's the only one that does not know that it's a TV show. He thinks that this is real life. So as you go through the entire movie, certain things are being revealed to him throughout the movie, where he's beginning to become more aware of the fact that he is actually, that something's not right. He don't quite know it in the beginning, and even towards the middle of the movie, he doesn't know it, but certain things just are not right with him in the movie. And so he's waking up throughout the movie, and he's beginning to pay closer attention to those things that are happening in his life, right? And so it's amazing to me because one of the scenes in the movie, he was on a sailboat. And so he literally sailed to the end of the earth. He sailed to the end of the earth, and he kept going all the way until he got to the end, and he ran into like this clear glass, wall. And so his boat sort of taps the wall, and then he taps it, he taps it like this, and he tries to fill it, and he's like, what is that? What is that? He doesn't know what it is. And part of the reason why that movie was trending on TikTok is because a lot of people have been speaking about the fact that they've been teaching us that the world is round. The world is round. When in fact, the world is not round. The world is flat, but it's surrounded by the firmament. And if you go and look in the Bible in Genesis, you will see that God created the heavens and the earth, right? And then Genesis speaks about the firmament. It speaks about the firmament. And he talks about the firmament is surrounded by water at the top and at the bottom, right? It's some deep stuff. And if you go back, like I have an article. I think the article came out in like it was in the 1800s. There was a professor of the I don't know what college it was or whatever educational institution it was at the time, but there was actually a professor that was being prosecuted because he was teaching that the world was round. Back in the 1800s, it was illegal for them to teach that the world was round. Listen to what I'm saying. It was illegal for them to teach that the world was round. I have the article. I read the article. It was illegal at some point for them to teach that the world was round. When you read scripture, scripture says the four corners of the earth. So where does the globe have a corner? The globe don't got no corners, y'all. So I'm bringing all of this stuff up. I'm just, going through different things because we really have to see when it is that we're being lied to. It's lies on top of lies on top of lies on top of lies on top. It's so many lies. It's so many lies. And these are some of the things that we've been taught as children that we never questioned because we never went and did our own research. They're teaching us at school that the world is a globe. And we're like, yeah, the world is a globe. We even went and bought a globe. We got the little globe in the house. We spin it around and all of this stuff and play with it. The kids play with it. But nobody ever questioned it. Nobody ever questioned that they went to the moon. Nobody ever questioned it. But when you go back and you look at some of the interviews that the astronauts did when they came back, when you look at their disposition and their body language and all of this stuff, them boys, they was depressed. They were depressed during the interviews. You talking about a time where they're being represented as having accomplished a once in a lifetime opportunity, and they are the first individuals to step foot on the moon. How would you act if you was one of the first individuals to step foot on the moon? You'd be walking around, you'd be screaming from the rooftops, you would be walking around with your chest poked out, you would feel proud to be an American, you would feel proud, you'll be walking on cloud 9. But when you go back and you look at these interviews, they were not happy in those interviews. They looked depressed, they looked stressed out, they looked like they had anxiety. And some of the questions that were being asked, they couldn't even answer the questions. Like one of the questions was, well, did you see any stars? Did you see any stars? And the one astronaut, I can't remember what his name was, he was like, well, I didn't see any stars. How do you not see any stars when you're on the moon? How do you not see? Y'all, I'm telling y'all. Y'all, when I tell y'all, it's just lies on top of lies on top of lies. So we literally have to question everything. We have to question everything. We got to question everything. We have to question everything. We have to rebut everything. When they say up, we say nope, we going down. I'm talking about the direct opposite of it. And we have to understand that Satan has disciples, Satan has leaders, Satan has all kinds of individuals that are running government, that are running this world, and they are pushing their agenda on us. Everything that they put out here is in direct opposition of the Most High. I was just looking at something the other day on TikTok, and I knew this already because I heard this, I think in 2021 or 2022 or somewhere in there, where they're now trying to, so you know, and I'm not trying to, trust me, y'all listen to me when I tell y'all this. Just listen to what I'm saying. I'm not judging anyone. I've never judged anyone. Part of the problem that I have with people, individuals of certain communities, is that when they try to convince me that what they're doing is right, and they will not allow me to live with my own set of principles, morals, and values. It's like, whatever it is that you choose to do, that's fine for you. But the moment you tell me that I need to be a part of this, that, or the other, then that's when I have a problem. That's when I have a problem, right? And so it's like things are being pushed on us. It's being pushed on us, and it's becoming more and more mainstream. It's becoming normalized. It's becoming part of society. And so because it's part of society and it's part of normalized, we're being forced to accept certain things that goes against our God-given principles, right? And so somebody will shame you. They will shame you for not having a similar belief system to what they have, instead of allowing individuals to coexist. Part of the problem is that people don't know how to coexist. They don't know how to coexist. If you don't look like them, if you don't talk like them, if you don't agree with them, then there's a problem. Why though? Why is it a problem? Why is it a problem? Just because I don't believe what you believe. Why is it a problem? Why is it always a problem? And so certain things are being pushed at us into mainstream. All of these things are being pushed that we know is wrong, is being pushed at us. We know this is wrong. It's being pushed. We know this is wrong, but it's being pushed. And it's like over time, they have slowly chipped away and chipped away at the fabric of society. And now look at where we are. And I'm just trying to figure out, where is the outrage? Where is the uproar when it comes to some of this stuff? Where is it? Where are the religious leaders? Where are they at to be speaking out against this stuff? Where are they at? But I know where they are, because I know exactly what the church is, and especially if it's a 501c3, I know exactly what it is. I put a video up about the church on TikTok, and they took my video down because I broke down the 501c3, because I already know what it is. With the 501c3, there is no separation between church and state. What does that mean? That means that the government can come in and govern your message that you deliver to the people. They can govern that. They give you certain incentives and kickbacks, right? And you're not allowed to preach what you want to preach in your own church. That's what that means when churches are set up as a 501c3. You can go and do the research for yourself. 501c3s are not allowed to get involved in any sort of political issues. And part of the problem is that a lot of the social issues and challenges that we have today, they are categorizing them as political issues, but they're not political issues. They're not political issues. Now, politicians are making decisions with regard to certain social issues that affect us every day. It doesn't make it a political issue. It just means that they're trying to govern our lives, and they need to stay out of our business. Because politics is politics, but my life and how I run my house is that, that's my decision. That's my decision. You can't tell me how to raise my child. You can't tell me how to run my family. You can't tell me how to protect my family. You can't tell me how to interact with other individuals in society with those with their lifestyle that I don't agree with. You can't force me to accept things that go against God's principles. You cannot do that. So you're overstepping your boundaries in terms of your intrusion on my life. Right? So it no longer becomes a matter of politics. It then becomes a matter of spiritual warfare. because that's what we're in right now. We are literally in a spiritual warfare, and we have to be able to recognize that that is what is going on. We're in a spiritual warfare, y'all, regardless of how you look at it. Satan and his disciples have been busy. His messengers are busy. His people been busy. And the problem is that we don't have any outrage because, like I said, it's been happening slowly over time. Slowly over time, they took God out of the schools. Slowly over time, you can't talk about religion at work. Slowly over time, we've gotten used to certain things pushed into mainstream that now is deemed normal. And so if you speak out against it, people want to attack you. They want to label you this and they want to label you that, when you know that certain things are wrong, but you can't speak out about it because they're going to attack you and they're going to call you certain names, you know, and then you can lose your business, or you can lose your license, or you can lose your practice. You can lose things when you try to speak out against certain things. They will literally ruin your life. They will ruin your life if you speak out about certain things. They will ruin your life. And you have to ask yourself, why? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? We have to start questioning everything. We have to begin to look at things with our spiritual eyes, not our physical eyes, our spiritual eyes. I made that post over the weekend in a private Facebook group because that's literally where we are. We got to begin to look at everything from our spiritual eyes, y'all, because they are coming after us. We're under attack. Regardless if you think it is or not, we are under attack. The music, the TV, unregulated change. Things have changed so dramatically over the years. I mean, really, really changed. When certain things are done in private, now it's out in the open. That's unregulated change. That's unregulated change. And so it's amazing to me because the powers that be, they don't even really have to worry about the church, because the church is in alignment with what is going on, because they're not speaking out against it. They can't speak out against it. They cannot get involved in certain issues. Every time we have a police shooting or we have anything that happens, you don't hear from any of our leaders coming out of the church, is what I'm saying. You don't hear from anybody because there's certain things that they cannot get involved with. They can't speak out against. Nope, they can't speak out against it. Yeah, we are definitely in a war. We are in a war. Exactly, it's a trust. Exactly, it's all. So so I hope that you all were able to watch that video that I dropped on the Thursday night call, because that really explains a lot. That's a very good foundation to start with, and I think I dropped the link for that video. I dropped the link for that video in one of my other YouTube videos. That's a really good foundation, because we have to be able to look. We got to look out here to see. My phone's going to be dying soon, y'all. We got to look out here and see exactly what we're dealing with. We have to be able to identify what we are up against and what we're dealing with. And so that's why I say, prayer, and spirituality is important, because the further away you are from the Most High, the more dangerous it's going to get. It's already dangerous, but if you don't have that spiritual connection, it is dangerous, y'all. It's so dangerous right now not to have that. It's just dangerous. It really is. But we have to be able to see what they're doing, and a lot of us just don't see. We don't see, and there's no outrage, just like I said. And so, getting back to what I said, I saw on TikTok. Now they're talking about ageism, or no, what is it called? It's called it's called age fluidity. Put a 3 in the chat if you know what that is. Put a 3 in the chat if you know what age fluidity is. Put a 3 in the chat. Put a 3 in the chat if you know what age fluidity is. Hold on, y'all. I gotta get some water. It's my throat. Right, Cliff. You absolutely right. You're talking about the descendants of Esau. You're talking about the Edomites. Hey, Solo Chill. Hey, Black Love. Yeah, you're talking about Esau. Nah, listen, age fluidity, y'all, it's a dangerous thing. Just think about it. Okay, so let me tell you. Okay, so let me roll it back. Who all knows what gender fluidity is? When somebody says they're gender fluid, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean when somebody says that they're gender fluid? Just think about it for a second. What does that mean? Yeah. And so that's exactly right. Listen, let me see. Let me go back to that comment. Cliff, that's part of the problem. Part of the problem is that we don't know who our enemies are. We don't know who our enemies are. And so because of that, we just allow things because we can't identify our enemies. We have enemies, like natural born enemies. We got natural born enemies. We don't know who our enemies are. All right. Talk to me about gender. When someone says that they're gender fluid, what does that mean? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I'm still waiting for y'all to give me an answer. When someone says that they're gender fluid, what do they mean? All right. Okay, so this age fluidity thing, I want y'all to go and do some research on this. They're allowing people to now label themselves as being as age. Exactly. It's not. Anjanae, it's not something that you want to be in alignment with, and it's not something that you want your kids to be in alignment with. Age fluidity is when, okay, let me just put it to you like this way. You can have a 60-year-old man say that they identify as a 10-year-old girl. You can have a 60-year-old man say that they identify with a 10-year-old girl. And so the article that I was looking at was basically saying, somebody was saying that age is a social construct. I want y'all to think about that for a minute. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. I want y'all to think hard about this one. Think hard about that. Really, really think hard about it. That's what I'm saying. So basically what's happening is that allows them to begin to legalize pedophilia. You understand what I'm saying? I want y'all to, man, that's why all this is going to be destroyed. I'm telling y'all, all of this it's going to be destroyed. It's going to be destroyed. It's going to be destroyed. That's why it's up to us to make sure that we are in tune with the Most High, and so that we can clearly hear him and we can follow instructions on what we need to do, because he is not going to forsake us. We will be protected, but we have to disassociate ourselves from this Babylonian system. I'm telling y'all, because the system is wicked. It is wicked. It's wicked. And it's just going to get worse. It's just going to get worse. It's just going to get worse, y'all. It is going to get worse. It already did. The first one sounded back in October. Anjanae. It's going to be a number of trumpets, but the first one sounded back in October. I'm telling you. Y'all, we got some work to do. So I listen, y'all want to get connected, I need y'all to get into this private Facebook group, because I'll more than likely keep the Thursday calls open to everybody, because I want people to be able to get this information. And so when I say Thursday calls, the individuals that are in the private Facebook group, everybody that's in the group will be invited to the Thursday night calls. But I still want to carve out a specific time frame for those individuals that are inside of the courses to be able to answer, to be able to get their questions answered, because the people that are inside of the courses are working towards something. They have very specific questions that are related to the content in these different courses that they're enrolled in with me. So part of the reason why I initially did not open up the call to everyone is because I wanted to give some special attention to those individuals that are enrolled in courses so that they can get their questions answered. Right? Yeah. That's part of the reason. I'm almost finished. I'm about to come in. Ring the doorbell. Yeah. That's why I did it that specific way. But what I may have to do, I'm gonna have to figure something out for. I gotta figure something out. We'll see what happens. I don't want to say yet what I'll do, but D Brown, go into the community section. I don't know if you all follow me anywhere. Like, if you follow me, go and follow me. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. Because the link, when you click on the link to join the private Facebook group is in there. So like, if you follow me on any social medias, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, or Twitter, yeah, I actually have a Rumble account. I haven't uploaded anything into it yet. I do have a Rumble account. I just haven't. I got so many. I got videos and stuff. Oh my goodness, y'all. Oh, I got so many videos and stuff that I need to pull off of certain platforms. I have a lot of. I just got a lot of stuff. So I have to. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to move everything over to a private platform so that people can access it there. But yeah, if you want to get into the private Facebook group, click on my social media links. It doesn't matter which one, because it's the same link on all my profiles. Tamara T. Bush everywhere. TAMRA TBUSH. Tamara T. Bush everywhere. Click on the link so that you can get into the private Facebook group. It's $14.99 per month. It's a paid group. It's not free, because I get in there. I do live Q&As. I'm always answering questions because people have questions. You can bring your questions. People are sharing documents. I have guides in there. You can go into the guide section and get a process. Like, get into the private Facebook group, y'all, so that you can get on these Thursday calls. Got to get into the group. But anyway, my mom just got here, so I'm about to go in the house, see what's going on. I think we're gonna go out somewhere and do something. And actually, we've been on for about an hour, so that's not too bad. AJ Mack, you listen, I'm about to get off now. I've been on for an hour. We just hit an hour, AJ Mack. Y'all, turn the notifications on. AJ, you're gonna have to go back and watch the replay, baby. Turn your notifications on. Make sure your bells are on. Definitely share this video out. For those of you that are not subscribers, subscribe to the channel, like the content, give me the engagement. I appreciate you all so much for joining. Peace and love to you all, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace and love.